Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we are the Biz Chicks. We invite you to sit back, relax. We're getting ready to talk tech in a way that you can understand. So we hope that you will enjoy it today. Those of you watching on the replay, we want to give a shout out to you. And all of you guys listening over in the clubhouse, hi, welcome to the conversation. We are going to get started with this day in tech history, and we hope that you'll enjoy that. Fran, do you have something for us from history, or should we roll something else?
Yeah, we got history. We always got history.
Okay, we got history, folks.
All right.
Oh,
I think I'm going to start with Edison.
mm-hmm.
January 27th, 1880, Thomas Edison patents the electric incandescent lamp.
Mm.
Yeah, while other incandescent lamps were created before his, Edison's version was able to outstrip the others because of a combination of three factors: an
Mm.
effective incandescent material, a higher vacuum than the others were able to achieve by use of the Springle pump, and a high resistance that made power distribution from a centralized source more economically viable.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know that there had been more than one creator of the incandescent light. So what he
Yeah.
did was he improved on something. He made a better one. Made a better mousetrap. Huh.
Right. He did.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Do
So I
not
thought, okay,
despise small beginnings, folks, or diminish the value of improving on something.
correct. So yeah, 1880.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's see. I don't know if I want to do well. Astronauts Gus Grissom, Edward White, Roger Chaffee are killed in a fire during a test of their spacecraft at the Kennedy Space Center. So they okay. After the fire, the spacecraft and planned launch, which never took place, was posthumously named Apollo 1 in the astronauts' honor. So apparently, it never got off the ground. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't take off. So that was in 1967. So the other astronauts were the based on the book Hidden Figures was after this or before this.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I
we'll have to
really.
look.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so January 27th, 1994, Silicon Graphics Inc. co-founder Jim Clark leaves the company to start Mosaic Communications, the operation that later became Netscape Communications Corp. With Netscape co founder Mark Andreessen, Clark helped popularize the World Wide Web by distributing the company's browser for free. I can
Mm.
remember the Netscape browser.
I remember it. I don't remember using it a great deal.
Right. So I thought, that's pretty interesting. And then let me go to my last story. Um, January 27th, 2010. What is that,
Mm-hmm.
13? How many years ago is that? 13?
Mm-hmm. It's 2023. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Apple introduces the iPad. Seems like it's been around a lot longer than that.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's only 13 years old. Apple
Not even,
introduces the iPad.
not even 15 yet. Mm-hmm.
No, wow. While still only a few years old, the introduction of the iPad triggered the close of the PC era and will certainly go down in history as one of the pivotal points in computing
Hmm.
history. I can
Interesting.
remember when people were like, "Why would you call it an iPad?" There was all kind of questions and ridicule about the name. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
So now people invent stuff and they can't name it what they want to name it, huh?
Oh,
Okay. Just
it's
like,
your stuff.
it's my party. Come on now. You don't
It's
have to go.
mine. It's mine. I can name it what I want.
Exactly.
But apparently that they
Cause
didn't
the
want.
ruckus.
It did cause a ruckus. So
Oh my goodness. Bless them. Okay.
may they be a blessing to their children.
Children. Oh my goodness. Well,
So I believe you now have the floor.
okay. Well, we're going to talk a little bit. You know, I like to have these human interest stories. And so I want to talk first about this young 12-year-old Nigerian boy and how he became a tech genius. So
Mm.
I'm going to, yeah, I'm see if I can roll some footage from YouTube. Let's see here if we can get this on full screen and pull it up and get this party started.
The first thing that inspired me to go in tech were my parents. They encouraged me at a young age, start learning programming languages and all that stuff. But after their encouragement, I get my own personal drive after seeing the amount of opportunities that can be found in technology. My name is Joshua Bola. I'm a 12-year programmer. I'm also the founder of Just for Tech. In Just for Tech, I provide skill empowerment services and also build lots of apps to solve particular problems. I also have a YouTube channel called Just for Tech in which I teach children coding in a more fun way. I started coding at the age of 6, around that 5, 6, because I celebrated my 6th birthday in the computer school. I went down my 8, 9 year old, when I was 9, I started building projects, lots of projects, started building out my websites. I made for myself, I made one for my sister, I also made one for my school. One of the apps that I built was a swear word remover. I won't classify it as an app. I'll classify it like a web extension, more like a web extension. So I was reading an article and I was seeing lots of curse words, and I was like, I don't like reading things with curse words. So I coding, and then I was able to provide an extension, and I developed Kawuka, which was inspired by blind people. So it was a voice assistant, kind of like Scuba, I say, voice assistant that you talk to, responds back to you, and you can learn stuff through it. I call it the Kawuka study body.
Family as a primary social group 2. Week 4 Family as a primary social group. Roles and responsibilities.
Back when I started, I couldn't maybe do all this AI stuff, basic AI, and even some advanced web development. But now I've improved my skill. I'll also be able to win some competitions, like an hackathon, in which they gave me 1 million in funding to build that Kabuka app. So they'll take it to the next level. Also won another award, um, Independence Award, in which I won the first in intellectual bravery. I would like to dive into artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning to know better about this. Maybe build my own robots one day. Coding not as hard as people think it is. There are many ways you can learn. Go to free code camp, go to YouTube, start learning and building your skills so you can improve your knowledge for the fourth industrial revolution. I remember it's not about filling buckets, it's about lighting fires. Let's light fires with technology today.
Okay. Let's light fires, y'all.
I mean, he taught himself to code. 12 years old. He's
But he
in
started at
business.
6.
He started at 6. and he's
Hmm.
built his own websites. He said you can find instructions over there on YouTube and different places for free. So
And you can go to his YouTube channel, Josh for Tech.
okay,
I was like, oh, okay. And
over on
he
YouTube.
made different programs and apps and
Because he was reading articles, and I guess there were a lot of profanity in there, and he didn't want that, so he developed AI to help him navigate through that with having to listen to all that wonderfulness.
hmm,
That's great.
So there you go. So we
our
got two of
future is
you.
looking brighter.
Yes, yes.
Our
And I
tech.
have one. Yeah. I was thrilled by that. I said, okay, here's a kid who self-taught for the most part, and his parents to- told him about it, and then he just picked it up from there at 6 and 7, and has built it into apps and everything else. I was really impressed by that. So I thought I'd share that. And there's one more thing I want to share. How you doing, TJ? Glad to have you in the house today.
I'm
How's the
good.
weather?
Is it
How's the weather in
is
New
it some
York City?
static or is it just me?
No,
I
that's
heard some
Terry's
stat.
keyboard.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe because I had my volume up high because the volume on his YouTube was pretty low. So I'm turning
Oh,
my
okay.
sound back down to half. I'm sorry, guys.
That's
No,
Thank
that's
you,
okay.
TJ.
okay.
TJ was like, "What is going on? Where is it?" I'm sorry, all the time it was me. And probably me waving my hands in front of that high volume probably didn't help either. So I apologize for that. I do want to share one more thing. I like to share innovations in medicine
Hmm.
as a result of technology. So I'm going to show this little 2-minute clip um, from an interview I found on YouTube. If you will bear with me, while I
TJ,
load
did
it
you
up.
know while Terry is pulling that up, did you know that the iPad was 13 years old?
That the what?
iPad, 13 years old.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know
It's
that.
only 32.
It seems
Wow.
like
The
older,
teenager.
right?
Okay, you guys ready for me to roll this clip?
Yeah.
Okay, here we
A
go.
single X-ray to predict heart disease.
This is probably my personal favorite because I'm a cardiologist.
Right.
But the way that we think about heart disease has been very elementary. We just sort of guess based on your risk factors whether or not you're going to develop heart disease. So what these researchers actually from Harvard, my alma mater, did is that they took a bunch of chest X-rays and then they told the computer, how many people that got those chest X-rays went on to have heart attacks or strokes. And the computer developed this deep learning algorithm, which has a whole bunch of different components to it, where it could look at a single chest X-ray and actually predict who's going to die from a heart attack or stroke. And you can imagine the implications of this because we could get a chest X-ray for almost anything, look at that chest X-ray, not just predict our risk of dying,
Right.
but also tell us whether or not we should be on a medicine called a statin.
That's what I was going to say. That seems to be the really crucial part of this because you're going to get that news and maybe it might be a little scary for you,
Yeah.
but you want that news so you can take action and do something to maybe reverse course there.
You can modify your risk factor. So it's actually a little flag. And I mean, we do millions of chest X-rays in the United States. So you could imagine how many people just waiting to have something bad happen, you could pick it up and actually, change the course of their disease. So I think the idea of using computers to make us smarter, picking up patterns that the human eye can't detect, it's really an incredible innovation.
Fascinating. All right, so we're going to have to see what the new year has in store, what new innovations we find out there. Dr. Coley, thank you so much.
Cool.
We are using our powers for good.
Yes, I like this because when I go to the doctor, being Black and female, they keep trying to put me on these statins. And I have been bringing these prescriptions home and putting them in the medicine cabinet because once you start taking them, you're sort of committed over the course of a lifetime. And I'm thinking, okay, you don't know if I'm going to need this. But with these chest X-ray, now they can actually get a better picture based on data versus statistics. It's like having an actuarial from the insurance company decide you need medicine. Wait a minute. I want I want something science based to determine whether I am really a candidate for something like that. Versus
So,
you're black, female, and over 52. Come on.
yeah, because that's kind of like just pigeonholed and stereotyping. Who did you ask about that? It's kind of like the surveys when they said we surveyed a number of people, and I'm like, y'all didn't ask me. I'm not in that poll that you created, so those numbers don't apply to me. And Carlos said hello. And
Hi,
then Mark
Carlos.
said, do I want to know? Mark said, do I want to know that prediction? No, no, no. Every day I would be living in fear.
I would want to know if I was, it's sort of like having a diagnosis. I could then do something to prevent it, but I don't want to prevent something that may never happen.
Correct. And then Carlos said, my computer predicted that we're all going to die. Thank you, Carlos.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm still
playing. This explains why I love data, because this is all based on data that's gathered from the medical profession for everything. Everything's gathered, and they can do that. They can figure out who's going to be more susceptible to heart attacks. They can figure out now. They have a what's the test? They can figure out the breast cancer gene if you have it. All of that is based on previous knowledge and data put into technology where they can adapt it, and it's all based on data and numbers. So that's how it works. If you're figuring out how it works.
And I want it individualized. I want it personalized for me, not group data. You know what I'm saying?
It will do that. We'll get to the point where it'll look at your culture factors. It'll look at your heritage, your race. All of those things will come into play, because we're gathering data now on that kind of thing. So it will be to the point where you'll go to the doctor, or the doctor will come to you, or on the phone, however it happens. It'll be a hologram, whatever it is. They're going to say, well, because this is your background, this is your age, this is your this is your that, this is your health factors. You have a whatever probability of this happening. So we have the medicine or the treatment that you can start now, and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be like that. And I don't think it's anything to be afraid of, because what the computer is doing is analyzing and computing data and numbers, which we don't have to do as humans. And we talked about this on Tuesday about having a calculator when the kids were in class and all of that. And now it's like they don't have to learn the times tables. Remember, we had to do that. You had to have that thing memorized. Now they don't do that anymore. They don't need that, because they have a watch, they have a phone, they have a device that will do that calculation for them. So is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing?
Well, how do you know if it's right?
It's bad. Some people think it's bad.
Well, I just think they need to get the calculations right, so let them use the calculator.
Exactly. That's what the device is for. That's what technology is for. So we as humans don't have to do that. Remember, they used to have abacus. Was it abacus? Abacus?
Yeah.
China. And do we do that anymore? No, because we have devices and technology that does that work for us. So are you double checking it on another device? No. So we're going to get there with medical treatment and all that stuff. It's just we as humans won't have to know the times tables, because that's something that we don't need to know. It's taking up space in our brain. We can do other creative things. That's what it's about. We're going to do other creative things. We're going to free up time to do other creative things. So we don't have to do rote work, numbers and carrying the one. And Who carried the one? I don't know if they still do that. They do. The math is different now.
Carlos said,
Yeah.
I just is
I
chat to
just
text me.
use
I just use it. I think that's what he meant. Chat
use.
GPT to text message for me. Okay.
Okay.
Now, and I'm going to tell you guys, if y'all wasn't here Tuesday with TJ, oh my gosh, you need to go back to Tuesday's
Go back and watch the replay.
broadcast.
We had some fun.
Yeah, we did. We actually played with some AI and created a post for someone from the AI. And it was,
I know, Fred, like, you were like, what? Fred said, I'm going to play with this right now.
Right. And it wasn't Chat GPT, which is a little, with everybody jumping on it. It was, if you go in there and it says, well, we're, the lines are busy right now, so you might have to come back later, pretty much is what it was saying. Well, with this, you already have it. You have it in your arsenal.
This tool and other tools. It's not just chat. For some reason, Chat GPT has made people go, it's been there for a year or more. That technology. It's just that Chat GPT has made it easy to use, like conversationally. You put in a prompt or you tell it what it is, but the tools have been there. So Canva has it, and we used Canva on Tuesday. And someone in the audience asked, and I'm like, that's why I'm glad, come and ask your questions. Nothing is too dumb. Nothing is off the table. Don't do that. Just come and say, I have trouble with this. And we was like, okay, this is what you do. Boom, boom, boom. And it was like, it's to free up your time.
I was like, what?
Fred was like, what? Like, yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's going to save a lot of time doing a lot of work, especially when you're working for clients and stuff. I was like, wait, we can just do this.
And we didn't pre-practice. I mean, I did one on talking about the guy in Texas that had the garden, because I was like, well, what would he want to do? And then I put it in, we made a presentation and turned it into a posting for social media. And in Canva, you don't even have to go outside of Canva to post on Instagram. You can post right from Canvas, and a lot of tools do that. You will do the AI. You can dress it up, make it pretty, whatever, and then you can send it on its way, and you can even schedule it for like weeks or months ahead of time.
Right,
if you want to do that.
Right within Canva, you did not have to leave Canva to make that happen.
Right.
I said, okay.
Right.
And
so that's what we was trying to make the connect between. Why is everybody going crazy for Chat GPT versus, okay, I need this to make content? Because someone was saying that they were overthinking it and it took her a week. I was like, what? No, don't take a week.
Yeah, TJ.
A few minutes.
Right. You had to come up with what was the thought that you wanted, your idea, and then introduce it into the AI. And then it came out of the AI. I was like, put it in the oven, and it came out of the oven, and you decorate it the way you want.
Decorate it.
And then serve it up to the people. I was like, oh, this was like the replicator on Star Trek. Tell it what you want, and it spit it out. I was like, okay.
You see, the more creative prompt or what you tell it to do, the more creativity comes out. If you just give it something generic, you get generic. If you go in and say, do this and do that, and I saw someone on YouTube, they were like, okay, write a rap song in the style of like one of the rappers, and it came out like that because they put it in. And this is like we were saying before with the AI creating the graphics. Like people are doing the AI chatbots and coming out with weird looking stuff or crazy stuff that's not attractive. I'm like, you got to tell it more. You got to say, give me something in this style by this artist that would be this color, that would be that. You have to be very descriptive with it. So same thing with the Chat GPT. So, but you remember, you're not going to use it Straight out. I've seen some people do that, and I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're supposed to put your flavor on it. Like Fran said, you're supposed to decorate it, decorate the cake the way you want.
In your voice, yes.
Right. But the tool is to save us time.
Right. And it does save time, because I was writing up something. What do you say to contributors who are contributing to your nonprofit or whatever? And it gave you want to do the da 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 da. So now I knew what to say in a letter to the contributors, because it said you want to do this, 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 and this. And then you can turn around and say, okay, write me a letter to the contributors using this verbiage. And it wrote the letter using that verbiage. I said, okay.
Yeah. And if you get, the output is too much, like I always like to say, like you writing a thesis or something, you can go back in and tell it to write for a certain level of reader, and it will rewrite it, and it will make more sense to someone who's not a college professor or something like that. Because some of it comes out that way, but you have to tell it, write this for, and it'll do it.
And the other thing is that when you tell it what to do, you because there's this concern about, well, people are going to be lax in their writing or whatever. You already have to have some sense of writing capability. You should have had business. What is that? English 1A or something when you go to college. You need to know that part so that you know if it sounds right or wrong. Does that make sense? You have to have a basic knowledge of how to put together a sentence structure and all of these other things to make sure that it's properly constructed. All you're doing is going back to make sure.
Right. And that's the point that we're trying to make on Tuesday. That is, if you're a good copywriter, if you're a good writer or this or that, this is going to save you time. It's not going to erase you.
Right.
Because you're the one that how to turn a phrase. That's why you see there's good books on the bestseller list, and there's a book being published every second. Are people buying it? Are people reading? No, they're going to the bestseller list because those are places where the good authors are. And those guys are, they used to write it on a typewriter. Now they use a computer. Now they're going to use Chat GPT to give them a better some idea, and then they're going to run with it in their style and write this great book, and everybody's going to read it. So
isn't that a ghost writer?
That's what we're trying to talk about.
Isn't that a ghost writer? What's a ghost writer? It's a Chat GPT, human Chat GPT. And then what Mark said, Mark said, I'll be your Chat GPT for hire if the price is right. That's a ghost writer.
There you go.
That is a ghost writer.
Right, because it doesn't spit out. It's not ready for prime time, in my opinion. It's going to get there. Right now, it's not. You got to polish it. You got to polish it.
You got to know how to read, know how to write. You need to know how to construct a sentence. You need to know how to do some other things. Mark said, I've ghostwritten for many. See?
Right. See, and these tools are about scale. You can write much more because you're taking out the process of, okay, it takes this amount of time to write this piece or this book. And the tool is going to help you by removing some of that time. And then you can, if I wrote 2 or 3, maybe I can do 4 or 5 or 6.
True. Hey, Ida. I got Ida over here in the clubhouse with us.
Hello.
She is one of my buddies from Movement Makers. So, hey, Ida, how are you doing?
Hello.
Good. Welcome to Tech Life Weekly. So, so this week we're talking all things tech, media, social media. And TJ, you are up. What we got going on?
I'm up. Okay.
Yeah, because Terry, she brought us those two.
Okay.
And then
all right, so go ahead.
Like a Zoom thing going on.
We are live on YouTube as well. We are live YouTube, and we're live Facebook and not Instagram, Twitter. We're live everywhere except for Instagram. Mark has a comment here. He says, I don't market the service and don't do it much anymore because I hate it.
Right.
See now, Mark, that's where the AI comes in. I wouldn't have to hate it. All you got to do is polish it up, Mark. Yeah, and because I think when you're writing for somebody else as a ghostwriter, that's going to be an interesting situation because you're not writing for yourself. You got to try and write in their voice. But if you use the AI to do it and then clean it up,
right,
put in all of the components, because when you ghostwrite for somebody, you're taking the idea of that person, right, and putting it into the putting it in there, right? Hey, Linus, how you doing? And Linus has a question. She's asking, what streaming platform are we using? We are using StreamYard, Linus. Yeah. StreamYard. It has been wonderful.
Yep, this is StreamYard. Right here. Okay. Are we ready?
Well, we got social media news this week. What's happening, TJ?
Okay, so this week in social media news updates, not too many things. This is going to be very, very short. I don't know what happened this week. Not much going on.
There's no holidays or anything, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still like the first month of the new year. You know, people, luckily, they have, taken off time. And I guess when they get back to the office or not, because, a lot of people work from home, there's a lot of remote remote work from home and people trying to get people back into the offices. I think there's a little fight going on. So like people are like, all right, what's going on? So we have something from Instagram. So Instagram, the CEO, Anna Mosseri, I think that's how you say his name. He is saying that photos will get more of a focus, more of a push on Instagram in 2023. So because there's been a lot of backlash from a lot of photographers who really, those are the first people that really used Instagram when it first came out. I forgot, it's been so long when Instagram came out before it was bought by Facebook Meta, that was a platform where photographers, took their very nice photos and put them up and everybody oohed and awed. And then of course, remember, they moved away from it. Now they're chasing after TikTok. Everything is reels. So the photographers on Instagram have put up a big fuss, rightly so. So it got their attention. So they're saying that the platform has gone too hard on pushing videos and they're going to look to make photos more of a focus once again in 2023. So now the CEO of Instagram, he does like a weekly Q&A on his IG story. So if you follow him, you'll see it. He puts all the news in his story. So he's saying, this is his quote direct. I think we were over focused on video in 2022 and pushed ranking too far and basically showed too many videos and not enough photos. We've since balanced. So things like how often someone likes photos versus videos and how often someone comments on photos versus videos are roughly equal, which is a good sign that things are balanced. So he also says that photos will remain a key focus for the app and they're looking for the balance.
Okay, hold on a minute. Now, are we playing ping pong? Because
are we what?
Playing ping pong. Dude is,
yes,
because we were reels, video. Then I'm like, dude, you just told us. Okay.
Or do that again, Carolina. You did that. Yeah, tennis match. That's what it is. Okay, so this is the thing. Remember, Instagram has a lot of touch points. It's not just one thing. It's the feed, it's stories, DMs, your highlights, your reel. There's a lot of places for you to put content out to reach your audience, to have a conversation with them, because we talk about that. You want to build a relationship. So there's lots of little places there. But also Instagram is also, because of Meta, they're chasing Gen Z. Gen Z wants nothing to do with Meta. They don't even like Instagram anymore. That's why you see everybody, that group is on TikTok mostly. They like that style. So they're not, Instagram is like, come on over here. We got this. That's why you see all the changes and throwing things and moving around. And we were A and now we're B. We're flip flopping. That's why.
Okay, we got a comment from
we got
comment from Linus. Linus says photos, not video. You know, I think they just like to throw things against the wall to see what sticks.
Right.
And then Linus commented, she says, I think you need to see what works for you and your following.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So this is the thing. Even though the CEO is talking about, okay, we heard your concerns. Now we're doing it. If you like, folks, they're all over the place. So this is why I'm like, don't pay attention to what they're doing because they're flip flopping. Just like Lennon said, you need to see what works for you and your following and stick with it. They're going to change. Instagram's going to change their algorithm. Facebook's going to change this. YouTube's going to change. But you have to be consistently going, what? I got to get my message out to my audience. And what you're doing with these tools is you're just using this tool. It could be another tool next week or next month or next year. We could move away, and we've talked about that. We could move away from Instagram. We could move away from TikTok. TikTok could be removed from the App Store. Then what do? There's other things to do.
Linda said, check out your insights.
Yeah.
And then Mark has a comment. Mark says, speaking of changes, put on your party hats. Cheeto Teeny will be returning to Facebook. I don't know who that is. Will be returning to
45.
Facebook. To Facebook and Instagram. He needs money, so he will be back. Everyone get your Xanax refills. Thanks, Zuckerberg.
And Mark is right. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I'm glad he brought it up. Yes, they have removed the ban for 45. Twitter and Meta.
They removed the ban.
They removed the ban.
He's back.
But he still has to comply with the rules there's been new rules since he's banned. So he has to comply with that. But get ready for his tweets and his things on Meta.
Well, there's something that you talked about before too, that you need to curate your feed for the stuff that you want to be concerned with and not necessarily following everything that comes up.
Right.
I don't, when Elon took over Twitter, I never saw all of the hoopla everybody was talking about because I never followed any of that. I followed business and tech.
Right.
I didn't follow.
Right. And that's the right move. But with Twitter, if you go to trending topics, because remember, there's a trending topic side that they have a For You, and you can change it by city and country. If you go there, that's like wandering into the woods off the path. That's where you get caught in the what are they talking about? But if you stay with your feed, like I have certain people, I don't see any of that stuff. But when I'm on Twitter because I'm doing investigation, I'm like, what's this? What's that? I go in and I get to see what they're talking about. But if you're doing what Fran is doing on Twitter, especially if you're just, I'm sticking, I'm on the path, I'm going to grandma's house and nothing is, nothing bothering me. I'm getting to grandma's house with my basket. But if you go off path, that's where the wolf is going to get you. And you're going to go, oh, what is all of that? There is a ton of stuff when you go to trending topics with Twitter, with Facebook, Instagram. If you follow the correct people, which is, your friends, family, people in your industry magazines and sites that talk about brand, I follow branding and marketing stuff, but I will see the other stuff because I look at trending or I search for it. But if you don't look for it, you won't get it, like Fran says. So you might not run into his tweets, but you're going to hear about it on the news. If you watch the news, you're going to see it. Because they're going to talk about it. The story.
Yeah. Linus said it's scary trending.
Right. And then she said something about he needs the money. Right. If you set up your feed correctly, you don't get to see that. When you get off the path, you wander off in the woods, you might not make it back. That's when we get into trouble. And everybody's saying about the money, he's right. Because this is a money grab. If you hear anything he does in the news is a money grab. I think he did some NFTs a while last year. That was a money grab.
Shut up, friend. I'm not going. Okay.
Getting on Twitter is a money grab. Because he's going to tell them he's running and I need your help, blah, blah, and they're going to send money. And he's going to make money, even though he might not run. Who knows? But right now, he's going to give that illusion. He's the art of the deal and illusion. Oh, he's great at that. But delivering and things happening, that's not happening. So I'm just saying, you could stay on the path, but if you watch the news, you're going to hear about it or see it, because they're going to go there. The news is going to go crazy over it. It's going to be it's going to be everywhere. 45 is back on, and he says this, and because it gets them eyeballs. It gets the news eyeballs. So just think about all of those things. And Leonard says, yep. So everything that 45 does is a money grab. Believe that. It's a money grab. And he gets the money.
Okay, Linus has a question about Facebook.
Yes.
Linus, you can put it in there, or you can go over to the Clubhouse and ask it live.
Yeah.
Either way.
Ask the question.
Yes, ask your question, please. That's why we're here. Tech Friday, Tech Life Weekly. We talk about it all.
So while we wait for the question, so just remember that now Instagram is now saying that they're going to, if you like photos, they're going to try to help you out with that. If you like videos, they're going to help you out with that. There's many paths that they're trying to do. And really they're like that. There's an Asian deity that has the thing with all the arms. That's what Instagram is trying to do. The lady with all the arms. I forgot the name of it. Forgive me. But it has all the arms, and they're trying to do all kind of things. That's what Instagram is doing.
Okay, so Mark
number
says,
one.
Oh, go ahead.
It must be done in song. Number one, the Meta wants money. Where's the money? Gen Z. 18 to 34, because of advertisers. Advertisers want 18 to 34, even though the money may be in 54 and up. Advertisers care about 18 to 34. How do I know that? Because I was in that. I've been in advertising for a while, so I know what they look for. It's always 18 to 34.
Mark said you can ask your question, Linus, but it must be done in song. And Linus is in Clubhouse. So you ready for her question? Go ahead, Linus. You gonna sing?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I saw something today on Facebook that I guess I must have missed or haven't been paying attention. There's so many platforms now that are collecting payments. So now you can, I want to know what your thoughts were about doing events on Facebook and paid events on Facebook. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, you're talking about the setting up to get payment? I've seen that pop up.
Yeah.
That's what you mean?
Yeah. Have you had any feedback on it? I guess the only thing, I'm trying to get off of Facebook in terms of following. I'm opening up a membership site in about a month or so. And so I'm trying to bring my people off of that. But it is kind of convenient. I stumbled upon it the other day because of someone that wanted me to go to a webinar or something, and she put the link and it was on Facebook and said click here to get access, and it led me to her jump page to pay or whatever. So I just wondered what you thought about that.
Okay, so this is the thing. You said your goal was to get people off of Facebook into your membership, which is a great goal. The thing about this doing events on Facebook is that they're going to want a cut. Do we want to give them a cut? I'm not sure if they're taking it now, but they will. They will take their cut. But every place takes a cut of the sales. But see, this is the thing. Your goal is to get people off of Facebook into your membership. So you could use events to say, hey, the people on Facebook, here's a taste of what I do in my membership. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have a group I could do that with. And I thought, I haven't really done events in the group. I do a weekly thing, but not paid events in the group. But I thought it might be a way to get them off of my platform get them off my platform in terms of doing one paid event there and then talk about there's even more somewhere else. I don't know. It just seemed like one more thing that you get entangled in their, in their money web.
Right. And so you want to get out of it, and you want to get out of it. So
Mm-hmm.
You might not want to use it. If you've got a group, you might want to stick with that group. Give them, this is, this conversation, but the deeper conversation is going on in my membership, and you always the call to action, direct them to that. But you can still go on Facebook. You don't abandon Facebook. We're still there in your group, wherever you got a soapbox, a box where you stand on, and you're talking and people are listening. Always do that. But
my thought was that I'll always keep the open group. But if I can convert, well, let me ask you, what are your opinions about conversion? I have close to 19,900 women. And how much can I expect to convert? Is it 1%, 0.5%? What's the benchmark, or what's the best practice?
Repeat the number. Repeat the number, because my Siri is talking.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm at 19,855 right now.
Okay. In Facebook group. In the Facebook group.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you want to get them in. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I add about 110 every 10 days or
so. So you're doing quite a bit. You're doing quite well, Linus, because one, that you have great content. That's one thing. And you are talking to a specific audience. That's another thing. Now, TJ, I'm gonna say this. I don't trust Facebook with my money. That's just me. I do not trust. I'm very okay. I trust Stripe. I trust maybe Square or something for payment processing, but I don't trust Facebook with my money. That is so. But what you are doing about you talking to those 19,000, and then the ones who want to come with you to a deeper dive on whatever your other platform is, they'll come because they want to follow and do whatever it is that you have to offer.
Right. But are you asking about the numbers that are in the group, and what percentage are converting to your membership? Is that what you're asking about?
I'm asking about what the stats are showing in terms of what the propensity is for conversion.
Okay, Mark.
What's the average of conversion?
Mark says a good conversion rate is usually 3 to 5%.
Yes. That's across the board with email, with a lot of things, 3 to 5%. So he's right. If you're doing 3 to 5%, then you should be okay with that. Just remember that everybody that comes into the group is not going to want to go further or be able to go further. So that's why I'm thinking you don't need to do events at all, because you got the group. So whatever you're doing to get people into the group, just stick with that. You don't have to do events because Facebook offers them. That's for, I think doing paid events is for someone who doesn't have a setup like you, where you can send them to your membership, and then that's where it's paid and everything's going on there. See that point? Just because Facebook has it, we don't have to use it.
That's absolutely true. The reason why I was asking about it is that I have a series of webinars that are going to be starting in February, and they're going to be held off the membership platform, because I don't have the membership platform totally set up yet. They're going to be held in Zoom. I thought, well, maybe I should consider Facebook, because it would be an easy place for the people in the group just to go click here, and they're still on the Facebook platform. But you're right, my goal is to get off of the Facebook platform. And you know what? I haven't paid any money through Facebook in years. So I hear you, Francine. There's just something about it. The one time I did, I got nothing. And I hired someone to, put together the ad and all that stuff. So I haven't used it in years. But there's some who base their whole, production on Facebook ads. It just didn't work for me. Now, of course, that was a long time ago, before all the baby boomers started infiltrating Facebook. So maybe it's different now. But I don't use them at all. I don't. Well, you know what? I don't advertise online like that. Period.
Yes, but see, you're talking to people, and they are connecting with you. What is the word? Organically, Linus. You've been doing that for years, and you've been talking to them. You have conversations all the time, and people they're talking to you. They're they're engaged with you. They want to hear what you have to say. And you've been doing it for years. How many years have you been? At least we've been on here, what, 10 years?
Yeah, it's been 16 years.
Yeah, see, you built up a following. You kind of like Gary Vee when he started back in whatever, and he built up the following on his YouTube and some other things, but it took a while. It didn't just happen overnight.
No.
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 And so, people are interacting with you already, and I think they'd follow you to whatever paid event, whatever webinar you got going on. Zoom is a good place to have a webinar. It works.
And see, it's the goal. It's the goal that you're trying to reach. You're trying to grow your membership, right? That's your one ultimate goal, to grow your membership on this platform outside of Facebook, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And the webinar series is to give them an example of the kind of content they'll get in the membership group that they will not get in the public group.
Correct. And there's a lot of membership groups out there.
I know.
So you got to take your time. And I'm going to text you something that I found, other than, because there's Circle. What else did we try? Circle and Heartbeat. Ooh, Jesus. Okay. Heartbeat. And there's one called Luma, LU.MA. But Luma is easy. But they have changed it to an event platform, which might work for you, Linus.
So please send that to me. And can they be integrated through Zapier for other platforms?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Let me see if I can pin that in there. Okay, I don't want to push the wrong buttons up in here.
Cool, thank you so much. Are you sending it to my text or?
I'm putting it in the chat, I think.
Okay. Chat on FB?
Right here. I can do both.
Because I'm stalking you on both mediums right now.
And it's LU.MA. LU.MA. Let me make sure that is right. Yeah, LU.MA. And I'll put that in the chat on Facebook as well. And it's a good place to host your stuff. Go ahead, TJ.
I want to ask a question about, because she said she has a webinar coming up next month. And what are you doing now to get people into that? You're posting in your Facebook, you're posting in the Facebook group, and what are you seeing
in the Facebook group? I'm also posting on Instagram, and I'm going to try LinkedIn as well. And I've been moderating rooms that have to do with that topic on Clubhouse.
And what are you seeing? Which platform are you seeing the most signups from? Are you tracking that?
Well, I just started rolling out thing this week. And I haven't got any signups yet, so I don't know. Usually it takes me a good week before I get signups, because you have to see it over and over again. But in the past, it's been Clubhouse and Facebook, I think, in the past.
Okay. Mark has a comment here for you, Linus. He says you can use Facebook as an entry point. You could give them a tiny taste, which they can continue by going to and paying via your website.
Yeah. I was thinking of something like that, Mark. Thank you for reminding me of that. I was trying to say, it was still like in the data processing part. Okay, so I do like a smaller version, like a teaser or whatever, and then tell them about the other one that's going to be happening that gives them more in-depth information.
Right.
Well, see, this is what you could do on your Facebook, your group, on your page, wherever. Just go live for a few minutes and give the teaser. Just go live. Just do a live video, like a few seconds. Oh, And if you want more, direct them to the group so they get into the group, and then say everything's going to be, the information you need to sign up, whatever's going to be in the group. And then in the group, you put the Zoom information in for them to go and pay. Or, if it's paid, have the link. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't see exactly what you're saying. Yep.
And on Instagram, do a little live and saying, hey, because you want them in the group. It's easier to get them into something free than the paid, because you want to go from free to paid. and you've got a big group there already. So you're going to grow the group. They're going to go into the group because that's easy. There's a one click, click here to join my Facebook group for more information. They go and join the group. Then in there, that's where you're going to put them, think of breadcrumbs, but you always want to put them in the free organic stuff because that's easier. It's easier to do, and then have the breadcrumbs to the paid option and then to the membership.
Mark has a statement here. He says, have you checked out Webinar Ninja? It works well for many workshops and can be spread across multiple platforms, he believes. Oh, yeah, because, okay. I'm like, okay, you're in 2 different places. I forgot. So, yeah, so she can see that. So,
with this is the thing that you don't want to spread it out too much. You want to have one entry point, and it's the Facebook group. Because it's easy for them to get to the Instagram live to the Facebook group, the Facebook post to the Facebook on your profile page, wherever, to the group. Then the group leads out. Got it? Because then you don't want to spread yourself too thin doing this, that, and the other all over the place. Because you've already got an established group that's pretty good, and it's working.
Okay, that makes sense. So I promote to the Facebook group because they have to join the Facebook group to see what I'm talking about. And then from there to the paid platform. Got it.
Yes, because you've already got this. You've already doing Zoom, right? You're already doing it on Zoom. That's fine. Zoom is fine. But get them into the group.
Do you think for webinars? I want to get your opinion on this because I've done both. What do you think works better for webinars for you on Zoom? Meetings or webinars?
Okay, so do you use StreamYard, Linus? Yes. Okay, StreamYard has a webinar function now.
No, when did that start?
Last month.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you can do it there. People can register right here on the page, right on your StreamYard.
And see, the difference with the meeting and the webinar is the number of attendees. Like if you're expecting a lot, like big number.
Then you can with the StreamYard, you can have people. You still get 10 people in the seat or on stage, and then the other people are in the webinar, and they can ask questions and do all of the same things that you would do with a webinar.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is in addition to your streaming price that you're already paying, right?
No.
Hold on a minute. I think that this needs to be at the pro level. So the basic level, you don't get that functionality.
No, you don't.
With the pro level, which is, $49 per month, that's where you have access to the webinar. So it depends on what plan you have.
Exactly. And then I think the pro level gives you, I need to go in there and look, maybe 500 attendees. And then if you want more, like 1,000 or whatever, you need to up the subscription. I got to go in there and take a look because I'm going to go take a quick look. But StreamYard does have it.
Linus, you've done this webinar before, right? Do you remember the amount of attendees? That will give you a guide also.
Yeah, I have. I usually don't go. I have yet to go more than 35 attendees.
Okay.
I have yet to go more than that. In fact, I don't really try to do too much more than that because so many people end up becoming one-on-one clients, and I can only handle so many. Now, I'm looking at the basic features here, and that's the main difference between the basic and the professional is this ability to
have the webinar.
Yeah.
Right. And remember with StreamYard, because you asked what were you doing? This is going out to all the platforms. So you can connect to you can go in StreamYard, and then it will go to Facebook, it will go to LinkedIn, it will go to YouTube, Twitter. What's the others?
All of them, because you can still put it out like on OBS and some other places, so it goes everywhere.
If it's a paid one, you're just saying you're increasing the options in terms of how people want to view it. Is that what you're saying, or?
Yeah, because they can participate on all those platforms, but they still need
different options.
Okay. So you can set up the pay and all of that from StreamYard.
Yeah.
You can. I'm sorry. Now, the registration page and all that you can set up from StreamYard like you do with Zoom.
Yes.
Oh, and you could probably brand it because Zoom you can't
just have to say that. So.
Thank you.
Okay. With everybody else becoming more robust and branding and everything else, Zoom is still, trudging along doing their thing. Because a lot of people don't want to do the research and find other stuff, like me. So that's why I listen to you guys, so you can tell me. So thank you so much. I will definitely check this out, guys.
StreamYard is pretty awesome, and they're always adding on tools. And so it's with StreamYard, if you say you want to do a one-on-one meeting with a client, you can do that without going live. You can do that within StreamYard.
Yes.
If you want to go live, you can go live, and you can go live to different platforms. Then they added the webinar option, and then also you can record video inside or outside and have that go out as live or whatever. There's different ways to work with StreamYard.
Here's a question for you. Here's one thing I haven't been able to see with StreamYard, and it's kind of important to me in a way. I don't see any filters on StreamYard. Am I missing something?
There are no filters.
Yes.
And here's my thing. Why do you need filters?
I don't know. Sometimes I have a bad hair day or something.
Well, at some point, people are going to see you for who you are, and you're not matching what you say. And often these filters are not enough to turn it, but and have fun with them. But if you're doing something serious, I'm not a fan of using filters. Put who you are out there, because people see you for who you are. And if it doesn't match what they see, that could cause them to think about, well, what else is she not being truthful about? Not that I'm saying that they would, but think about that. You don't need a filter. You look fantastic.
You look great, Leonard.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, you get on-air live viewers for your webinar would be $250 at the regular $49 plan, which is the pro plan. And then if you want to increase the limit, it would so the professional, you get 250. If you want more than 250 people, you get 1,000 viewers at the $89. And $269, you get a green room, pre-recorded streams for 8 hours, and your stream is only 4 hours with the $89. Yeah, this is pretty good. And then with the business, you got to contact sales if you need 10,000 or more viewers.
Well, I just went ahead and upgraded to the pro. Because I've been using StreamYard for about 4 years, I think, something like that. But I didn't know about this webinar thing, so I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah, it's new. They just added it.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for that feedback, too, Doctor. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Go on as you. Be you.
Thank you, because I didn't know you could... Would the Zoom give you filters or something? I'm not trying to...
No, it doesn't give me filters. You can...
blur the background and all that stuff. You can have...
your skin tone and things like that, yeah.
Well, but StreamYard does that, right? It makes you look better. It actually does that.
Where does it do that? I've never seen it.
Okay, so I'm in here on camera. You can do virtual background if you wanted, which Dr. Tachi and I do not do virtual backgrounds.
No, we're not doing that.
I don't do virtual backgrounds. They always look weird.
Yes, they do. And then they have, let's see, virtual backgrounds. You can mirror your camera, but the quality of the video on StreamYard is really, really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's excellent. So I don't, you don't need to.
You know what else I've noticed on StreamYard? Sometimes if your end is buffering, when you do the playback, it's not buffering. Have you noticed that?
Yes, because go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you didn't. Go.
Something they there's a name for it. It is local record. You mean when you watch back the playback? They call that local recording. So
yes, local recording. Yes, yes. Yeah, and so because I had one thing that was really, really bad, and I wasn't going to even air it on my podcast. And I told him when we do it, and as I was going through my archives and clearing some stuff out, I looked at it, and it was nothing like what I was experiencing on my end. It was like fairly good. There weren't any buffering or blanks or any of that at all. So that must have been their local recording.
Yeah, because you can, it makes it easier if you have to edit it or something too, because you can just go pull one of the other shots. Dennis says, I agree. I like honesty in all aspects and consistency. It gives a sense of security and steadfastness, especially these days. You don't know who to trust or who to believe. Anything fake turns me off. And I believe she's talking about being you on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And that's she's in Clubhouse. Or she was in Clubhouse. I don't see her right now. Okay.
Well, Mark says, seriously, check out Webinar Ninja. It has it all on one platform. And he shares the link.
Okay.
Mark, you need to be getting an affiliate fee for that.
Dennis says everyone wants to look good, but it's better to be real. Okay, Dennis.
That's the best type of makeup, honesty.
Okay.
This is good. Okay, TJ, what else we got? Because that
all right. So just a few more. Like I said, really light this week. Instagram has added lead forms as a CTA call to action button on option on business profiles. So they have a lead form option that you can set up, which will provide new ways to generate direct response from your business presence in the app. So you can go to your profile and set it up, and it'll tap and it'll go through where you can ask them questions and set it up as a lead form generation on your Instagram profile. And also on the profile, they've added dynamic profile photo, which can be flipped to show your meta avatar. So if you set up your avatar on Facebook, in Meta, it will flip on you can have it where it swipes on your profile. Someone goes to your profile and swipe and they see your picture that you put up, and then you can have your avatar show up also. So it's called a dynamic profile photo. So it includes your regular image and an alternative avatar display, which will help to get users more accustomed to representing themselves in digital form within the app.
Okay, whatever.
And yay. And that's it. Really. Not too much going on. TikTok, there's still talk about TikTok and a ban in the Senate, and there's still the ban within the government devices, and
the university too. The universities have banned it.
So it's like a little slow wave trickling going out. But there's talk of things happening in Congress, but they got to get their stuff together because they debt ceiling and all that. So, but it's coming. The talk will come, and that's it for this week.
Ooh, Dr. Tachi, you have the floor, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Hey, everyone. Okay, so just to talk about ChatGPT for a moment, I've been sitting and thinking and lamenting at how foolish we Americans are, that instead of really actively looking at what this can do, you outright ban it. And I'm particularly surprised with the universities that are doing it thus far.
It's fear.
Yeah, but you're not fearful when you're armed with information and methods to use it properly. And that's what people don't want to take the time to do. You all want to still be ivory towers. You want to be the education system and not change anything, but act like you're changing something. And then you're going to be all surprised when other countries, as they continuously do, surpass students in terms of know-how, etc. All you have to do is look at someplace like Dubai, who is feet first in the metaverse, and you fools don't know what to do with it. So I'm just dumbfounded at the amount of tomfoolery, debauchery, and stupidity that exists amongst our institutions of education in this country. And so if we're looking for advancement, it's not going to come from that, clearly. Now, this is not to don't get in my DMs or whatever and say, I don't give a damn. I too I'm a professor, and I'm calling out the academy as well. So I think that, yes, be cautious about this. But why didn't you know this was on the horizon? Why are you, who is supposed to be, you're supposed to be institutions that are preparing students for the next generation? Why are you not on the cusp of this? Why is there not a technology committee that looks at these things and says, all right, well, coming down the pipe, it's ChatGPT. Let's take a look at it and do X, Y, Z. No, ban it all. I'm sorry. Let me get off my soapbox because I'm tired. I'm just tired of the lack of critical thinking.
No, you're right. It's fear of change, and I know you know that. That's what it is. So we'll ban it instead of, like you said, the suggestions of getting someone, a committee, a head of technology, or this or that, to look at it and say, "Ooh, how can we use this to make our students better, make learning better, make everything better?" No, they just outright ban it.
Okay, got a couple of comments here. One is about your GPT comment, Dr. Tachi. Let me get this. Mark says they need to allow mood avatars. You swipe on my pic and see what kind of mood that I'm in. Approachable, taking no prisoners, or approach at your own risk.
For the Instagram, yeah, like a mood ring.
Yeah, remember the mood rings? Okay. Then Linus says, I have a question. Is there a platform that does better than others when it comes to detecting plagiarism? Dr. Tachi?
So, better than others, there's the one that we really have that everybody, because again, it's all sales. And so most of these, a little bit of research, but then sometimes they just go with the status quo. So the most popular tool that most universities use is something called turnitin.com. It doesn't mean that there are not others, but it means that that's probably the most popular one, and the one that maybe gets everything they want. Now, here's the thing. For Turnitin, often this is for online classes, etc. You have to either sign in or you have to, you sign in, right, to do it. And sometimes I don't feel like going through that. And I have found that even just putting portions of things in Google will turn up the source just as well as Turnitin.com. Although Turnitin.com will do things like tell you the percentage of what's plagiarized. It will tell you the sources, where it came from, where else it's seen, that type of thing. So you'll get like a percentage score as well. So a lot of universities tend to use, and I think maybe K through 12 also, but a lot of universities use Turnitin.com. The thing is, with now with the advent of something like ChatGPT, there are tools, and Terry, you can probably attest to this. I can't remember the name of it, but there is a tool that you can check for something that's been generated via ChatGPT. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and also there's going to be ChatGPT. It said they're going to put watermark on the text, so when you copy it, it's going to have watermark. So those are some of the things that they're going to do to stop it from a straight copy and paste. And also, like you said, the plagiarism tools. The tools will get better as we use AI tools. The fact checking of it will also hopefully keep up with it and help us to say, okay, this is from ChatGPT or whatever, and we don't want that. We want your thoughts and ideas. Like Dr. Taji said, that they're just outright banning it instead of saying how can we integrate this in a way that it's a tool for learning. So, but things are coming.
Mark has another comment. He says, make your voice of objection heard. Call 1-800-NO2-TACHI.
Mark, this is why I love you.
And then Linus says, I've already had an experience with Open Chat when it comes to creating marketing copy. It was initially taken down by Instagram, and I disputed it, and they put it back on. Bottom line, though, I am using it. I already have all my masterclass outlines in less than 30 minutes for 6 master classes, so it saves me time.
Yeah, see, it saves her time.
Sorry. Yeah, that is the key thing when it comes to this. It's supposed to be a tool, not the end all and be all. And the fear, I think, is that people use it as the end all and be all and purport themselves to be greater than they actually are, as opposed to. Oh, sorry, hold on.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. If you are a writer, you know how to write. And so you're supposed to use the tool to kind of go back after you given it the idea that you wanted and it generated. You got to go back in there and use your writing skills to make it work.
Right. To use your own, to make it your own, and use your own words. Do your own work, people. And so it's a good place to start. And it's also a good place to start because it helps in terms of, and Terry can attest to, TJ can attest to this, in terms of what people are looking for, right? What people are searching for. Those types of things as well. So it's a helpful place to start, particularly if you're writing copy and you want copy that is really going to grab, really going to do well in terms of SEO. That's a great place to start. But then you need to put it into your own damn words. It should not be that. And here's the thing. So even if you're using, like Linda said, she's using these and it's saving time, she has the expertise. So if somebody comes to her and asks her questions, she's going to intelligently rattle off everything that she knows, unlike a charlatan who used ChatGPT to become the queen or king of marketing. And then somebody asks something and it's like, and humming and hawing because they don't know. Oh, sorry.
Exactly. You hit it on the head exactly, and we talked a lot about that on Tuesday about how just get ready. There's going to be a whole bunch of content coming out, but a lot of it is not going to make sense because that person is starting from a point of experience. They don't have any experience with it. They're just okay. We're gonna use these tools and grind, and you put it in and it comes out, and we're just gonna slap that on something and make a course and make money and blah ha ha ha. That's not how it's going to work. That's how they think it's going to work, but it's not going to work because we were saying it's going to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Linus is back.
Yeah, I just have to say something because I saw that immediately. I was in a clubhouse room for like 30 minutes. Then I went in on my own. I thought, okay, this is exactly how I'm going to be using this. There may be other uses, but this is what makes sense for me for right now. About a day later, this same person now had an expert course on how to use all this stuff. And people are signing up for the course. And I'm thinking, you know what? If you would just spend a little bit of time and figure out what works for you, you would have probably
less what?
Issues around using it because you took the time to learn the platform instead of these shortcuts. These people cannot be experts on this yet because it's still new for everyone. Yeah,
exactly.
You're right, Doctor. People go for the okie doke and try to do the simple way, and then what happens is then other individuals, like you're saying, formal education, get all paranoid about it and just ban it. Period.
Yeah, there has to be a middle ground.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. It shouldn't just be all black and white. It's definitely a gray area, but I could see how it can help people like me who don't have I have 2 employees, and a couple of 1099s. Rest of it's me, So I need help, and this helps me. It saves me a lot of time, and of course I'm going to look at it and see, does this sound like something I would say? But I can tell you one thing. You're absolutely right. If you know your stuff, you know what you're getting. If it's real or not, if you can stand behind it or not. So it was confirmation for me. It was like, wow, okay, this is a good platform because I know what they're talking about, and this is exactly what I would put in this course. I just needed to get it organized. I could, spend an hour doing it, and I'll spend 15 minutes doing it.
Right.
Right. Absolutely, I absolutely agree with Doctor.
And see, the people that are going on Clubhouse or wherever, after a day and going and making content saying, I got a course in this and that, those people are going to fall away. That's not, they're going to get some people. They're going to get some people. And then after that, it's not going to happen because they don't have anything of substance behind it. So those people need to beware if they're going to instantly go with somebody who got on Clubhouse and said, I know. No, I'm going with the person that already has a brand presence that I've either followed them or I can go back and look at their trail of what they have put online and saying and showing that they're the expert, not telling me you're an expert. Show me. And when you have a brand presence, you have a brand online, that's a footprint. I can go back and look.
Right. No, absolutely. And it's not new. If we remember back in the days, we all know each other from like Periscope and Blab days. And if you remember back in the days of Periscope, when Periscope first debuted in 2015, what did we say? See, I'm the Periscope king. Learn how to do this on Periscope. It just debuted yesterday. What do you know from Periscope? Some orange. You don't know. So, there have always been these pseudo intellectuals,
experts and
pseudo intellectuals and pseudo experts who come on and tell you the day after. Okay, even after, let me tell you, after, remember IGTV, which is now just all reels. Remember how it debuted? The day after it debuted, I saw somebody who came on and was like, how to make money with IGTV. You don't know. It debuted 2 days ago. How do you know? So, but the thing is, I'm not even blaming them. I'm blaming the disciples who followed them into the volcano.
Yeah.
So you have to be a critical consumer when it comes to those things. There's no way, unless this person worked on the team to develop it, that anybody knows how it will perform, what it will do. You don't know. So don't be so, laziness will get you hurt. That's what I'll say, and I'll leave it there.
Mark's comment.
Mark said, please sign up for MySpace class.
Please, my MySpace class.
We'll say how much.
Mark, you can teach that, right? Yeah. MySpace is still out there.
It is. Is it widely used? Not by the masses. But there's a niche, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of stories for you all. Not so much, but we've got some things on media. Let's talk a little bit about NBC and Jay Leno. Now, Jay Leno has been on NBC for a while, and he has a series on, on NBC Universal called, what is it? Garage? Jay Leno's Garage.
Yes.
So, it's being canceled by NBC Universal, and this is going to end his 30-year run at NBC Universal. So since he took over the Tonight Show in 1992, Jay Leno has had a presence on at least one of NBC's channels ever since 1992. So that's a long thing. So it's over apparently, and CNBC has told the Hollywood Reporter that they decided to cancel the reality show Jay Leno's Garage amid a larger schedule shift at the channel. And the primetime hours are going to focus on reality reruns of Shark Tank and Undercover Boss, as well as original business documentaries. So it looks like they're shifting a little more towards business things with that. If you see Shark Tank, Undercover Boss, and then business documentaries, looks like they're going to have, at least in that reality slate, more of a business lean.
I got a question, but how is Shark Tank is an ABC product, isn't it?
Shark Tank is, but these are reruns, so they're licensing Shark Tank.
Okay. And you may be going to allude to this, but NBC is actually getting rid of a lot of stuff on the Universal. So I think if you're going to talk about that, go for it, because I was trying to find my NBA station for our local basketball team here, and we're like, where is the thing? And it's not showing up on YouTube TV anymore. I'm like, the only reason we bought YouTube TV was because our local sports station was on that platform. And I was like, where is it? So NBC is making moves.
And you bring up an interesting point, because two things. This just follows the trend of a lot of shaving down that's happening across tech and media in general. And the interesting thing is that I'm going to wait to see how these channels react when people get rid of them, because before, when there was no choice, when cable was your choice, all right, this channel leaves or whatever, and channels didn't leave as readily as they do now, and content in it. And you're like, well, whatever, there are other things. Now you have other choices. So you don't have to stay with YouTube TV if the main reason you got it was because of the NBA channel. And I can probably venture to say many people said, oh, well, the NBA channel is here, or this channel is here, so let's go with that. That actually determines for most people what streamer you go with.
Right.
So they're going to need to figure out something.
Right, because we went to go watch the game and we're like, this is not available in your. What do you mean it's not available? So we were like, okay, we had to go actually to the NBC Sports app to watch it. And if I'm going to go through all of that, I don't need YouTube TV.
Exactly. You could piecemeal it together if that's the case. So
right.
There's going to be more of that type of thing. Believe me. I mean, we can already look at HBO and the reorganization and things that have happened there in terms of getting rid of some of the content. So part of this is we have to think about that all of this is server space, right? So if there are things that are not being watched, it is not bringing in money, I'm going to get rid of it. You know, we need the space, because part of people don't realize that when you're talking about a network or stations, things like that, they have to pay for storage. I mean, unless we're talking about an analog station that is still storing things on 3/4-inch tape or DVD, God forbid, then fine, we're not looking at that. But for everybody who's storing things in the cloud, yeah, that's what we're looking at. And these streamers, the OTT networks, you're storing things in the cloud, and so the more you have there, the more you're either going to get limited. And not to get too technical, but most of these places are using AWS or Amazon Web Services to store their things. And so it's not infinite. It's finite before you have to pay for it again. So they're deciding, well, all right, this is server space that we could use for something else. We're getting rid of this, and this.
Wow. That's really good information, because I hadn't thought about it in terms of the fact that it's taking up data on a server, just like your computer says, okay, you need to get rid of some stuff because you can't do what you need to do. There's no more space on the computer.
Exactly. And it's not free. So
Mark says that Jay Leno just broke multiple bones in a motorcycle accidents. He's having lots of accidents lately.
Really?
Yeah.
That could be another reason for the ending of Jay Leno's Garage. Anyway, so hopefully it's okay. So here's the thing. He actually was talking about this. So he suffered 3rd-degree burns in an accident at his garage late last year. And his first interview with the accident, after the accident, was on the Today Show. So that's that. Maybe,
Dr. Tasha, we have a comment from Derek T. Tuggle, who's on Clubhouse. He said,
Derek, hey!
He said, yes, the Yahoo app used to show the NFL for free. Now they charge to watch football.
See, well, I'm happy I'm not a football fan, because that may upset me. But it's interesting. It is interesting to see that in this age of so much content and so many different ways to get content, that far and few between are there free. There's free content, but or let's say freemium, right?
Yeah.
Because then to get more of this, you need to pay. So Peacock, the ad-supported in and of itself is free. But if you want to watch some of these other shows, like remember when Bel Air was on, you got one episode and then you had to pay to upgrade. So they're hoping that you get stuck on the channel or the content enough to want to buy. But they have not dealt with a Doc and Tachi before, so that doesn't happen for me.
I am not signing up for another app or another streaming service. Sorry.
No. So this is the interesting thing. The Hollywood reporter says this, and they end their article with this. But with the end of Jay Leno's Garage, the comedian's career at NBC, spanning 4 decades, appears poised to come to an end, unless Peacock is in the market for a car show, of course. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't think it is the end. And here's my thing: he's had a long-running relationship with NBC, as have a lot of air personalities, comedians, actors, actresses, etc. There are so many people who have had long careers with a particular entity. But remember that not to put all your eggs in one entertainment basket. At some point, you have to say, what's next? Because these people can let me go at any time. Here's the thing: 40 years, over 40 years, and he's been with them for the long haul. They're like, no, we're moving towards something else. Thank you for your service. There's no loyalty. These people are not loyal. So you have to say, what can I do? What is my next step when you're in these fields? So,
right.
Jay, we'll be sorry to see you go, but something tells me you're really not going. So
I think he'll have something else cooking.
He has something else cooking. Well, let's talk about another staple in NBC's lineup that was for years and years, Carol Burnett. She is celebrating her 90th birthday with a 2-hour special. She's ageless to me. I didn't even know she was 90. But
wow.
Yeah, I know. But something told me she's been on the air for a while, so that seems about right. But she looks fantastic. So NBC is going to pay a tribute to Carol Burnett on her 90th birthday with Carol Burnett, 90 Years of Laughter and Love. It is a 2-hour special that's going to air on her birthday, which is Wednesday, April 26th at 8 p.m. And it's also going to stream the next day on Peacock. It was filmed at Avalon Hollywood in Los Angeles, and the special is going to feature A-list celebrity musical performances from Bernadette Peters. That's another one that doesn't age. So Bernadette Peters, Billy Porter, whom I love, Jane Lynch, Katy Perry, Kristen Chenoweth, who is awesome, and more. There will be musical tributes that pay homage to Burnett's renowned career performances, including Old Friends, dedicated to her 60-year friendship with Julie Andrews, Only an Octave Apart, which Burnett sang alongside Beverly Sills in the 1976 special Sills and Burnett at the Met. I actually saw a rerun of that when I was little. So interesting that came up. And then the film Annie, and a tribute to her classic theme song, I'm so glad we had this time together, from the Carol Burnett Show.
Yay.
So this is going to be kind of fun. I loved the Carol Burnett Show. I really like Carol Burnett. So this will be interesting. So look for it in April on NBC and then Peacock.
Yes, and then Mark says NBC with a question mark. Carol was a CBS girl. And that, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how they are, jumping companies, but okay.
People, there are no boundaries or borders anymore when it comes to this. And it could, I can only speculate, but basically whoever pays the most for it. And it's not like the old days where actors, actresses, personalities belonged to the network or belonged to the studio. She doesn't. So, and then with the Carol Burnett, this is separate from the Carol Burnett Show. So if they, it's not the same thing. I don't know what the deal is or whatever, but NBC has it. They have the last word.
And Lennis says, love it. I will watch this stuff from the things of my childhood. Now, see, I will watch that before I watch the Grammys or the other.
Heck yes. Who cares about the Grammys? And the Grammys is coming up for those of you that are interested. The Grammys are coming up. If you are wanting to see another show where the industry congratulates themselves for 3 hours, get ready. It's coming in February. But if not, this is the type of thing that I want to see. And no disrespect, I used to be all over the Grammys when I was little, but here's the thing. We've got such overexposure to all of these celebrities. I can go to their TikTok, to their Instagram, and watch them perform and act silly at any point. I don't really need, and I can go to YouTube and, find a performance there. I don't really need to see it live, right? I don't know. It's not like it was before, and I can probably venture to say it's the same for many people. So that's another thing coming up. Let's talk about Nielsen. Top 15. Nielsen Top 15. Stranger Things is the most streamed program for 2022. Are we surprised?
Still haven't watched.
We are not surprised, but
I haven't watched it.
Nor have I don't think I have an interest in watching it. It's very popular. But if I'm going to watch a show about young adults, which I did, there's a show on Netflix called On My Block. Have you all ever watched that?
No, I haven't seen On My Block.
No.
So
No.
On My Block takes place in LA, and they are it's about growing up and youth, and there's no supernatural thing to it, but it's really, really well done, and I got hooked on it. So they had, was it 3 seasons or 4 seasons, and now it's ended, but it's still on Netflix. So it's hilarious, it's funny, it's about friendships. It's a group of Black and Mexican kids, like 4 of them, that are best friends, and navigates them growing up through growing pains. It's really good. So I would rather watch On My Block than that. That's my jam.
Linus has a couple of comments here, or Mark also. He says, Mark watching the Grammy. Who is that? Who is that? And that is who?
Exactly. I don't know these Bamas. I do know some, obviously, the ones that are more mainstream, but then there are going to be some like, I didn't sign up for this. So yeah, exactly, Mark. Exactly.
And then Linus says, SAG, Emmys, Golden Globe. First, they don't even perform like that anymore because of the cost to do so. They don't. Okay. And then she also says that she watched the first season of Stranger Things, but after that, it got a bit too demonic for her. And season 1 was good. 2 was like, 3 was like, whatever. So.
Yeah, I just never had the wanting or longing to watch it, but good for people who do. So, Stranger Things was the most streamed program, racking up an impressive 52 billion viewing minutes. The show topped both the Nielsen Top 15 streaming programs and Top 15 original streaming programs. So that 52 billion represents the highest figure since The Office racked up 57.1 billion viewing moments during the COVID-19 driven lockdowns in 2020. So listen to this. Over 10.2 trillion minutes of entertainment were streamed by Americans last year, which is a 27% increase over the 7.9 trillion minutes in 2021. NCIS was the second most streamed title with 38.1 billion minutes, followed by, and we talked about this before, Coco Melon with 37.8 billion minutes. Hopefully I didn't trigger anybody's child when I said Coco Melon. So for original,
I'm muted.
Okay, good. So for original programming, Ozark and Wednesday trailed Stranger Things with 31.1 and 18.6 billion minutes respectively. The latter is the most impressive because Wednesday premiered on Netflix at the end of November. And so, of course, there's going to be a trailing because Stranger Things was on longer, and Wednesday, like they said, premiered in November. So that is very impressive. So NCIS was the most acquired stream program, followed by Coco Melon and Grey's Anatomy, which had 26.8 billion minutes. The moral of the story is we watch an awful lot of content. And if we're trying to determine which way audiences are going and what they want, it pays to pay attention to what they are consuming in other places. Now, we could also say, well, that's because that's what is offered. You don't know what you want until you're offered something else. True, but it does provide a basis to kind of start, if that makes any sense.
Yes, Mark says 1 trillion of that streaming took place in my apartment.
I believe it, Mark. I believe you. Wow. Okay. So, since we were talking about ChatGPT, I want to talk about is ChatGPT, but more so BuzzFeed. So media organizations are starting to turn toward AI tools from OpenAI to personalize their content. And BuzzFeed says they're going to do just this. They're the latest media organization to turn to automated methods to process content. But BuzzFeed says that the newsroom will stay focused on human work. Thank you very much. BuzzFeed is going to use the tools provided by ChatGPT creator OpenAI to, quote, enhance and, quote, personalize its content, according to a memo that was sent just today to staff by CEO Jonah Peretti and by statements given to The Verge, which is a great magazine, by the way, or publication. So in the memo, Peretti says that AI will be one of the two major trends defining the future of digital media, the others being creators. And Peretti says that in 2023, BuzzFeed's AI-inspired content will launch on the site, enhancing the quiz experience, informing our brainstorming, and personalizing our content for our audience. All of that seems very vague. So let's see what he says more. Our industry will expand beyond AI-powered curation feeds to AI-powered creation content. AI opens up a new era of creativity where creative humans like us play a key role in providing the ideas, cultural currency, inspired prompts, IP, and formats that come to life using the newest technologies. Okay. So in any case,
they're going to use Chat GPT pretty much.
That's about it. Don't try and sugarcoat it, or as Linus had said, use a filter.
Maybe they wrote that with the Chat GPT.
They must have, because this is very bloody vague.
You never know. It's pretty vague.
I know, right? Go ahead, Terry.
She was just saying it's pretty vague.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, but the point of this is that media organizations are turning toward the use of AI tools like ChatGPT, and we're going to see them used in various ways. So this calls into question, the same thing that TJ was saying when people were asking, will this take away jobs? It will take away the jobs of the people that are not already great. No one wants to live without a great journalist. There's work that has to be done. Yeah, I could probably write an entire newspaper article or, an entire article, but you still have to go through and change things and correct things. And let's not forget with ChatGPT that their knowledge base stops at 2021. So it's always evolving, but as of right now, 2021 is the knowledge base, which is why you get the disclaimer that some things may be incorrect, some things may be outdated, because they could be. And if we're talking about an industry like media that moves from moment to moment, if you stopped in 2021, well, we're already almost 2 months into 2022. So don't fear that, journalism jobs are going to be taken away. To the contrary, this calls for more scrutiny, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I have just one more. All right. So speaking of NBC Universal, Comcast has added 5 million subscribers to Peacock in Q4 amid heavy costs. So it's making its way around the world, but the cost of doing so for Peacock is becoming large. So they said they managed to add 5 million new subscribers to Peacock, but it generated a substantial investment to do so, even as they've had to navigate a slowdown in its overall broadband business and pay out severance to reduce staff. So they reduced staff. Remember, we talked about that, but they didn't go quietly. they had to pay for these people to go, right? So the company's top executive seems to think that the costs of being in streaming are worth it. They are. Comcast more than doubled its paying Peacock subscribers, according to a statement from Brian Roberts, who is the company's chairman and CEO, while revenue nearly tripled to $2.1 billion. So the owner of this Xfinity cable business and NBC and Telemundo network said revenue during the period rose just 0.7% to 30.6 billion. Profit came to 3.2 billion, or 3.02 billion rather, or 70 cents a share, compared with $3 billion or 66 cents a share the year earlier. So they've made some revenue, some modest revenue gains. So that is the basic thing, that they did spend more, but they see that the cost is worth it. And they also did add 5 million subscribers to Peacock. That's what I have for you for the media this day.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Appreciate that. I wanted to ask TJ about the Google layoffs, which I was like astounded. I wanted to make sure I wasn't asleep or dreaming or something, where people, they were laid off. They didn't realize they were laid off until their badges didn't work.
Oh,
I think so. I was hold on, let me. I was reading about that.
That was
it 12,000 that they laid
yeah.
off?
Yeah, 12,000.
I was like, what the? So
is a small.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm like, if you think about it comparatively, because again, that happened at Google, it's happening across tech companies, but 12,000 is a small town. There are towns that the population is 12,000. That's like an entire small town being laid off.
Right. And in the Business Insider, I believe is where this, well, one of the
Yeah, I saw that they were in the middle of a call and they got disconnected. Their access was disconnected, just like Blab did us.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, who does that? And it says Google employees were notified early Friday morning by email that they've been laid off. But if they didn't check their inbox before commuting to work, they were in for a tough surprise. Okay, like who really checks an email? Seriously.
That's the rubbish of expecting people to be connected 24 hours. I check my email when I get to work. I mean, if I worked in a physical place, I would check my email when I got to work. I'm not doing it before I get there. So why would I check my email only to find out? That means you're expecting me to be on email 24 hours, which means this is probably someplace I don't want to work anyway. You've done me a favor. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is? That expectation comes from the fact they give you cell phones and iPads and all that stuff. And so they expect you to be tuned in all the time. I know, because when I was working in corporate America before that was even a norm, that was the inherent expectation. We're going to give you all these tools, but our expectation is, regardless what time zone you're in, that you'll just be dialed in, checking email, checking voice messages, all of that. That's where that comes from. And that's why they thought that was acceptable to do that.
Okay, so this is something that companies do, because I worked in IT, and when someone was being let go, we got the order to cut off their access to the network. And it's there's no warning, because they do that, and this was government side, because they didn't want anybody going into the network, taking the files and
sabotaging stuff. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of like, you don't get the heads up. They just cut your network access off. So it sounds
Yeah, and it was like, it seems to me like there should have been a phone call, or the manager something should have, so at least I don't have to show up.
They needed to come in anyway and get their stuff.
True,
and
but
be escorted out.
And because they had to be escorted out.
Yeah. And they're saying in that Business Insider said that it was a Google recruiter. He was trying to access an internal company website, an intranet, during the call, and he couldn't. It says other members of the team reported similar problems. They were saying also with Twitter that they were either Twitter or one of the other companies that they were trying to get into Slack and they couldn't get into the company Slack. But that's what happens when you're terminated. They cut off your access to everything that's internal within the company. You don't get files, you don't get access to the network drive, you don't get access to email. And this person was in the middle of something and they got cut off. Just like I was saying with Blab, that's what they just
Flip
they
the
didn't care
lights
that we
off.
were live streaming, they just cut it off. So this is kind of what happened with this with Google. So
and it's okay. So the age range.
It's more about protecting their network and their files and stuff and access to things. So,
but it seems like the age range, because Blab did it, and the only thing I could think of because of Blab was that these kids have they're just like, okay, we're done and we just don't want to do this anymore, flip, and they don't think about it. This is Google, who's been around, and I think the people at the head of the company, there should have been a different way of this happening. And Mark has a comment. He said, I had an employee that was being fired. I told them to make sure that they did their due diligence because he was computer savvy. After he was let go, he proceeded to emulate my email as me and send emails to me to let me know. He also got into our files. This was one of the largest organizations in the world. That is a story for my book. I told them.
See, you have to cut them off without telling them. You have to go, bloop, you don't get network access, you don't get the login, all of that stuff. So we had to do that.
You know, my thing is, and I do get that, but why are you trying to, if there is a situation like that, cut it off at nothing o'clock in the morning. Do it before they get to work, and then let them know, hey, you don't have access anymore because this is happening. That way they can't come in. But what you're doing is you let them spend their money driving to this place. And I'm not saying people have done something wrong, but these are people that are being laid off. Arguably, it's not something that they wanted anyway. So I'm finding out I'm laid off because you revoke my access. That's callous. What you need to do, that's laziness on your end by not get somebody to get up and do it before I get there. Why would you go there?
Well, the one guy lost access at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I think
should have been on at 12 midnight the day before. If you know the layoffs are happening on a Tuesday, Monday night at midnight, or Tuesday.
Right. I agree with you. There's a way to do it. Not when they're coming to the office or in the office. You do it before they wake up, or in the middle of the night, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., whatever.
I don't care how many bean bags you have for us, or if you provide breakfast and lunch every day. All of that is a moot point that when I need to know something, you can't do it. Having a foosball table isn't going to make up for that, Google.
and yeah, there's different things happening. Everybody checking the bank account. Oh, we can't afford to do this anymore. Okay.
And a lot of this tech layoffs is like a domino effect. Elon did it first, and they were like, "Ooh, that's an idea. Where can we cut the fat and save our, the CEOs get to keep their money, and that higher VP level, they get to keep their money. Let's get rid of some of the staff." Now, and they see him do it. And then Salesforce does it, and then Microsoft does it. It's like a domino thing. They start to go to their bean counters and say, "Well, can we cut some people?" Yeah, sure. And then they do it. It's not like they need to. They just do it because they saw Musk do it, or and then they look at the industry
trend
timeline. They look at the trend. Yeah.
Oh, listen, we can do it too.
Yeah, it's a trend.
Unfortunate. Well,
how come they didn't lay off anybody before Elon Musk got rid of 80% of his workforce? There wasn't really that much going on with that. And then he did it, and it was like, whoa, we can do it too. It's not a good thing.
Well, this has been Tech Life Weekly. where you can come here every week and figure so that you know what's happening in the world of tech that you can use for your business. And TJ researches is all our social media stuff. Terry brings us all the greatest human interest stories. And Dr. Tachi, she keeps us on point with whatever is happening in media. All three of these things intersect to help. This is what happens in our life. These three places intersect, and that's why we do Tech Life Weekly, just to keep help you take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. We'll be back next week. Next week is not first Monday, is it? Yes, no, we got one more week.
We got one more week. It's the 31st, right?
Yeah, we got one more week. So anyway, we'll see you back here next Friday. Thank you, Linus and Mark, and all of you who are watching from the clubhouse. Appreciate you stepping into our room and giving some input and some insight. I'm still trying to figure out how that lounge.
Did you do a room or a house?
I did.
I still am confused.
I'm confused too, because I pushed house and then there wasn't nothing happening. So then I pushed room. Yeah, I got to figure that out. It wasn't
got to study that.
It was not clear. But when I did the room, people came in. But when the house was there, you would think if you're in the house and there's a room, it would work. Okay.
Right.
Not so much. We need to figure that out. That little hiccup needs to fix. So anywho, thank you so much, Terry.
We want to remind you, if you'd like to become a part of the BizChicks community, you can simply go to bizchicks.net and become a part. We'd love to have you and love to help you do what it is that you do. And if you need help with your tech, remember we're here to help take the hassle out of your hustle. Give us a direct message and we will respond. With that, we want to remind you it's okay to make money in your business. So go to the front of your own line. Thank you again, Dr. Tachi. Thank you again, TJ. Thank you, Fran, for all that you do. And we'll see you guys Monday. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.